What's happening, people? We are live, but we're going to let it breathe, let it saturate the old system with some of that vital oxygen. We need it. We are, after all, the Mile High Huddle podcast. Welcome in, everybody. You know who it is. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, today you wrote up a story. It was some might say, well, he didn't really say anything, but Sean Payton made a comment about the coming trade deadline, which is somewhere, what is it, the 4th of November? Is that the deadline? Break it down. And do you think the Broncos are harboring any potential moves?
Yeah, he was basically like, oh, yeah, man, I'd definitely be interested, but don't ask me now because I'm not thinking about it now. So ask me later, more toward November 4th. And that's typical Sean Payton answer, but he gave a little bit of himself away by even saying, oh, yeah. I don't know that the Broncos have any players, Chad, that they would trade away. I know McMillian has been a popular candidate. I wouldn't deal him. But maybe they look to acquire a center to replace Wattenberg or provide competition, or maybe a left guard to replace Matt Pert, who was awful, instead of Ben Powers.
It was interesting on the Pert subject. We've got, of course, the trade deadline as a possibility to help this situation at left guard. But also, Bob Morris wrote up an article this morning just kind of taking a look at the free agent market. And suffice it to say, I'm not sure there's really any options out there who are available on the free agent market outside of retired people like Brandon Scherf that would represent a genuine upgrade. In fact, I would rather see the Broncos give Calvin Throckmorton a chance at this stage than repeat with Pert at left guard. But then again, Eric Trickle, I'm reading his grades today, and he said, look, Pert was obviously horrible in the first half, but he did improve in the second. So maybe, Zack, there is, if you're trying to view this from the Broncos' perspective and how they're probably looking at this internally, if they saw a improvement in the second half from Pert as well, maybe they're going to give it one more shot and see how he holds up as the left guard.
Maybe this is why I'm not an NFL coach, because I wouldn't want to find out, Chad. I wouldn't roll the dice when the franchise quarterback is at stake and the Broncos' success is at stake. The Giants have a good front seven like the Jets do. It's going to be another tough challenge, and they need stability at left guard.
Look who it is. One of our dear, dear members, great friends, OG Super Chat superstars from the Mount Rushmore, Papa Bear, David McElrath checking in on Super Chat saying, good evening, Broncos country. Hashtag 11-6 plus. Love it. Love it that the pluses are coming back, Papa Bear. Appreciate you, big dog. We also have the Lady D jumping in off the top rope as she is wont to do. We love you. We appreciate you. We're going to see you in a few days. It's going to be dope. The meet and greet approaches rapidly now. Here we are. Deanna says, hello, Chad, Zack, Scott, and everyone in the chat. In my opinion, Payton needs to stop thinking that Nix is Drew Brees. He's not. He's Bo Nix, so play to his strengths. We will be ready for the Giants, I think is what she means. Broncos will go 4-2 Sunday. So excited for the meet and greet. I'm not sure what she means by the 4-2. Maybe get to 5-2. Yeah. Either way, Lady D. Yes. One thing that Bo Nix, amongst others, but the most obvious thing that Zack separates Bo Nix from Drew Brees, and it's arguably underutilized by Sean Payton, is he's a big old strong athlete that can do stuff with his legs. And you can argue that the Broncos haven't made much use of that, even though last week on a read option, Bo Nix keeps it in London and trucks poor Jarvis Brownlee, dude. Like, he popped back up with pride. You know, he's like, I can't let this quarterback see that he totally laid me low. So he pops back up on his feet, and as soon as Bo Nix turns his back, he's like hobbling off to the sideline. Poor guy.
Yeah, Deanna, great minds. I did a takeaways tweet. I'll be converting it into an article if you want to check it out for the website coming very soon. And someone said to me, why does it seem like Sean Payton doesn't trust Bo Nix? And my answer was very similar to yours. And I think Sean desperately wants Bo to be Drew Brees, and he's reckoning with the fact that they're just different quarterbacks. I also think that the injuries Bo picked up last year have spooked Payton a bit, at least in terms of letting him scramble. So Sean knows that he has a good backfield, but he's conflicted by knowing also that whatever Bo Nix does as a passer, good or bad, reflects on him. And it's that paradox that brings out the ego, and that's why you're seeing 30 or 40 pass attempts every game. So you're right, Deanna, and thank you so much. He has to just accept the fact that Bo is a different style of quarterback.
Exactly. He's different. There's a lot of similarities, but lean into those differences. I agree with that. Sam Bam, brother, great to see you. Thank you so much for being the awesome superstar and member that you are. And thank you for the super chat, big dog. He says, hey guys, a win is a win, but that was stressful and ugly. I don't think the Broncos need to make any drastic changes. Ugly wins can be a blessing in disguise, but the offense and play calling need to improve. Go Broncos. Yeah, they do. But again, I don't think Zach do a great job of elucidating this yesterday in the gut reaction. But it's important to remember, guys, like this wasn't just, hey, we're facing the Jets, hum, ho hum, whatever. They've been on the road for a long time. They came out of a real tough game against the Eagles, stayed out, crossed the pond, a whole different time zone. You got the jet lag initially in the week, the weird environment. They're kind of fish out of water. They're in the UK. Then they got to face a desperate, wounded animal that is the Jets that are just trying to get off the schneid, and against a head coach that knows Sean Payton and a defense that was not given its full probably respect by people who were forecasting, including yours truly, that game. And, they got punched in the teeth and they managed Zach to come out on top. So I give him credit for that. Jet lag. Exactly, Scott. The dad joke, the jet lag, right? But the other factor is, hey, man, let's give some credit here to Sean Payton, because the Broncos last year, Zach, really struggled in the one-score games, and much was made about, the Chiefs won ugly all year long, got all the way to the Super Bowl. Eventually, those chickens came home to roost, but the Broncos in those one-score games just couldn't get it done, and it was looking like, Zach, early this season, it was going to be the same story with those back-to-back heartbreaker last-second field goal losses against the Colts and Chargers, respectively. But guys, the last two wins, one-score games away, fish out of water scenarios. So also give some credit where it's due. They're breaking the curse, so to speak.
I guess it would define like your definition of a drastic change. Sean Payton is not going to be fired. I don't think they're going to go to Davis Webb after this game, but nothing can really excuse calling a fullback dive on 3rd and 10 or calling a shotgun play action when you're near your goal line and not running the ball to give yourself more breathing room. It looked a lot like Nathaniel Hackett was calling the plays yesterday, Chad, and that takes a lot for me to say because I am a Sean Payton supporter, but that was the most baffling game we've seen as the play caller in the Sean Payton era, and he has to be a lot better going forward.
No doubt about it, guys. Much more to get to. We're going to come right back to the chat. But guess what, guys? The football season, it marches forward apace, and Underdog remains the best place to make your picks and win money. It's easy playing on Underdog. Just pick whether your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on a given stat, whether it's touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more.
That's right. Get your picks correct, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1. So if you think you've got a beat on what Bo Nix's stacks are going to be this week, download Underdog and win some money.
Guys, it's so much fun. We've loved not only partnering with Underdog, but having a blast playing Underdog, using the app, and winning money. Well, the opportunity to do so watching football, I mean, it's a no-brainer. So download the Underdog app today. Sign up with our promo code that you see, MHuddle, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. You could be next. Underdog, make picks, win money. We got to get our little sorry guys, we're a little
18 plus, 19 plus in
there we
Alabama
go.
and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Zach, the Falcons are currently kind of laying it to the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football, interestingly enough. We can kind of talk more about that as the night marches on. But Lady D also throwing down 10 MHH memberships to folks in the chat. She's done it many times, and we're grateful. Zach, I'm sure the folks in the chat who just were granted these memberships bequeathed by the Lady D are grateful as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deanna. You spread positivity and cheers and memberships with each and every pod. So on behalf of everybody, thank you so much.
Watch out. We got a flying anger pig taking flight here. Thank you, buddy. Great to see you. Appreciate the super. Thank you for being a member. Saying, good evening, priests. I will be flying in for the game with my 2 boys. Would love to go to the meetup for the tailgate. How much is it? Food, drink. Thanks for everything that you do. MHH for life. GL sighting. What's GL sighting?
I don't know.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. While I ponder, I shall answer. So it's free. You just come find us, bud. And there will be food. There will be some things to drink. So just come hang out. Yeah, we'll be in Lot D as of about 11 a.m. I mean, we'll get there as soon as the tailgate opens, but we'll be about set up and ready to start actually greeting folks and hanging out by about 11. And then the game kicks shortly after 2. So Gene's going to be there, dude, as well. The brace girdles are going to be out in full effect. Stoked to see you guys too, saying, can't wait to see you, boys. Got to pull our stuff together this week. The G-men look tough right now. Yeah, but it's a rookie quarterback. And the Broncos, Zach, let me wrap my brain around. Hold on. 15 sacks in just the last 2 games. And you go, they're on a run. Well, that's been the story all season long. I mean, they faced one rookie quarterback, Zach, to open the season. They're getting another first-round pick in Jackson Dart. How are you feeling about that?
The Giants are playing feisty right now. I agree with what Gene is saying. I think the Broncos will handle Jackson Dart, but Scatabo is playing good football. They have some playmakers, Theo Johnson at tight end, Wan'Dale Robinson at receiver. As I mentioned, they have a decent front 7 with Dexter Lawrence. So it's going to be a little more of a challenge than the Jets were, but I have no issue seeing the Broncos take them out wholeheartedly.
I think it's going to be a huge boost just being home. I mean, even if the Bronco faithful were not in attendance, and even if the meet and greet juju wasn't in effect, I think just the fact that they're back home, they're sleeping in their own beds, they're in their regular routine, regular environments, that alone is going to have a very, I think, uplifting, galvanizing effect. And then when they walk out on that field, I mean, it was mostly Broncos fans, Zach, at the stadium in London, but it was still obviously maybe just barely more Broncos fans than Jets. So being in front of the home crowd, that's going to be a tough nut to crack for Jackson Dart on the road. It's going to be loud. It's going to be hostile. I like the Broncos. I think their energy, fans are going to really dig it this week. Duchess jumping in, Michaela Parker with a generous super chat. She's one of the very first faces etched on the MHH Mount Rushmore when it blasted up out of the earth. Boom, there she was. Love you. Thank you, Michaela. She says, I'm in the camp of all the people asking for Sean Payton to give up play calling. Been old, stale, and predictable. Nothing wrong with it. Giving it up, meaning Sirianni, Campbell, they let the OCs call plays. Zach, do you think if there's enough of a groundswell, right? Fans at this stage are starting to really pick up a head of steam in terms of this whole time for Sean Payton to give up play calling. Do you think it could happen?
Sean Payton does not give a what you think, what I think, what the fans think, what the media thinks, Chad. He cares about what Sean Payton thinks and what he thinks is best for the team. So they'll pry play calling from his cold, dead grip. He has too much job security. It's simply not going to happen without ownership stepping in and paying him $18 million a year coming off a playoff berth. They're not going to step in so fast. So good or bad, Michaela, like him or not, we're stuck with him. But thank you so much for your generosity as always.
I'm not worried about it. Honestly, I understand the fears. I understand the criticism, and I'm not saying it's not justified. But I mean, dude, having Bo Nix take that deep drop on a play action in his own end zone, I mean, you were just begging for calamity. So yes, there's some facepalm moments that have taken place with Sean Payton, the play caller, but I still very much do trust him. I think he'll get it back on track. And again, I think we're not fully viewing the enormity of what they had to do, not only taking on the Eagles in their house, coming out on top. A lot of energy expended in that act, by the way. Then going across even farther, going to London, all that stuff I already said. So I'm giving them still some benefit of the doubt, I guess, is the bottom line. The David, or as I like to call him, the David in the house, dude. I've suffered through enough Bronco losses in my life to know to celebrate this historic defensive dub. Adversity forges metal. That's with 2 T's, y'all. We be good. MHH for life. Well said, buddy. I agree with you 100%. The game at the final gun yesterday when we were going live, Zach, you know, there's a reason why we call it the gut reaction. And I was a lot more, I wouldn't say, well, definitely disappointed, but I was a lot more emotional about it than I feel today for whatever reason. And maybe that's the opportunity to sit with it, sleep on it, work out the hormones, as it were, Zach. But I think this message really is what it's all about, you know, and the Broncos did face adversity and they came out on top and they won 2 tough games by 1 score. So they snapped that streak of constantly being on the wrong side of those close games. I'm stoked.
Yeah, I've covered enough games in my life to know that if the Broncos win next week, at least partially convincingly, the vibe will be a lot different around here. It's just because it felt like a loss, even though it wasn't. Many of us expected a blowout victory, and they squeaked by a winless Jets team. But David's right with what he's saying there, and we appreciate the super.
I liked what Nick Bonito said after the game, and I'll talk about that here in a second because we don't want to keep George waiting. George, what's up, buddy? Great to see you, pal, on Facebook, one of our longtime dedicated Facebookers. Really good to have you. Thank you for the support, big dog. And the David, my brother, we need you. Become a member on YouTube. We need you in the inner sanctum. It makes us stronger. Let's go. Zach, let me find this. Here, read this comment and Facebook star comment from Phil while I find it.
Phil saying, good evening, Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. I have no problem with Bo or most play calling. Just let Bo be Bo and execute the play. Also, something has to improve on special teams. Buckham, MHH for life, Broncos for life. Exactly, Phil. That's what I was saying earlier, is not trying to make Bo Nix Drew Brees, because he's never going to be Drew Brees. He's Bo Nix. Let him use his legs more RPOs, and let him play more loose and free, not have him think so much. He's never going to be Peyton Manning in terms of a cerebral quarterback. He has a lot of natural athletic arm talent, leg talent. Let that shine. And Sean, I think, just tends to outsmart himself by trying to be the smartest person in the room.
Honestly, I just want to see Bo use his legs a little bit more. I mean, geez, even Sean Payton after the game, when he was talking about how Bo laid Brownlee low, he's like, holy cow. Hopefully that came with a little bit of an epiphany, because, man, Bo can make plays with those legs. And I mean, they run a lot of read option, Zach, but maybe that's also a little bit of an onus on Bo Nix on some of those reads, man. Hey, hold on to it and try and turn the corner.
I don't know. I think Sean Payton at times is overcoaching Bo Nix and putting too much in his head. And I know he's a second-year player now, but he's still a young developing quarterback. And even with the delay of game a couple weeks ago, that was because Sean Payton wouldn't spit it out in time. I just think there's a little too much dictation there.
Real quick, before we grab Flying Anger Pig's second super, I want to grab this from our friends, the Knoppers. Michelle and I are not going to be at the meet and greet. Michelle is recovering from a surgery, and I am having to undergo 2 surgeries within the next couple of weeks. Now, Albert had mentioned this to me privately, and so I was aware. And by the way, everybody's okay. It's just a few things, according to Albert, that need to get taken care of. But we're going to miss you, and hopefully, Albert and Michelle, we get to see you at the next one, big dog. We love you guys, so thank you.
Yeah, sending good vibes and positivity to you both for your surgeries.
And guys, the members sounding off. Don't worry, we're going to come to you here in just a second. Flying Anger Pig, will we see Greenlaw play? Great question, Zach. Great question. He's officially eligible this week to be activated. We don't really know yet. We can't anticipate. Wednesday will be our first chance to kind of get a hint. Does he practice even on a limited run? Because then they start his clock, and just like with Malcolm Roach last week, Zach, then they can have him play on Sunday. What do you expect?
I said this the last time that we seriously discussed Dre Greenlaw. I'll believe he's going to play when I see him on the field playing a football game for the Broncos. And I don't mean that to sound like a cop-out, but we've been told by Sean Payton over and over before he went on IR, oh, he's going to be back soon. You're going to see more of him, and it never materialized. It was a weird situation. Hopefully it's rectified now, but I'm not going to believe anything until I see it.
And his former partner and very close friend, right, Fred Warner, who that was part of the reason why he wanted out of San Francisco and ultimately took the Broncos offer was, what was that article? It's been too long that I can remember where it came from, but basically someone said, hey man, you're basically stuck in Jordan's shadow. You're Scottie Pippen in San Francisco, and you always will be, because Fred Warner is an absolute stud who is done for the season, suffered a gnarly injury yesterday, and go somewhere where you can be Jordan. And he's like, all right, I think Denver's that spot. And he just hasn't been able to get off the training table. This is the first week he's eligible to come off of IR. Is he healthy enough? That's what we don't know. That's what we don't know. And unfortunately, I have to echo my part here. When it comes to Greenlaw, guys, we're kind of in a posture of believe it when we see it.
Maybe if Peyton was more transparent with what went on with Greenlaw, we could give a more accurate, prediction, but he wasn't, so we can't. That's basically where we stand.
He will never discuss injuries, even in certain scenarios where it's like, hey, man, it's not always giving an opponent an advantage to discuss injuries, and especially when it's big PR-oriented topics like this, where it's a high-dollar free agent, a very well-known player that just got signed to the Broncos. Like, maybe you don't realize or feel like you owe the fans any kind of explanation, but you kind of do. You kind of do, and that's been disappointing. But Zach, that's another thing. Like, expecting Sean Payton to change his tune on the subject of injuries, believe it when you see it.
Exactly. Yeah. Same thing with the trade deadline answer. It's like he gave a little bit there by saying, oh, yeah. But the fact that we're even talking about that says it all about Sean. He's extremely tight-lipped and close to the vest.
All right. I'm going to grab some member comments here. I'm going to start at the very top and see what's on everybody's mind. Let's see. David Youngkin, how long does it take to come together? Everything coming together type thing, because it's week 7 now. So do we have to wait till week 16 for it to come together? And I don't know. I mean, Sean Payton teams, Zach, are traditionally slow starters, and we saw that last season. I'm getting to a point, I was writing about that Bo Nix stat today that was dropped by the 33rd team, which, in case you guys missed it, when it comes to explosive touchdown passes, meaning passes for a score that traveled 20-plus air yards, Baker Mayfield, who is arguably the leading MVP candidate, leads the NFL with 8 such touchdown passes. And guess who is in sole possession of the second most? That would be Bo Nix with 4. And then, Zach, you think about, well, holy smokes, what if those throws, like just the 3 that he missed that were, we agonized over in LA, if he connects on those, that's 7. The point being, he's really close, Bo Nix. Like he's been, gun to my head, he's been disappointing this season relative to what we expected. In a vacuum, I would not say he's been disappointing, but relative to what we hoped to see and expected to see after a historic rookie season, he hasn't quite lived up to that ideal. But there's time yet. And to David's point, Zach, how long? When is it going to happen?
Yeah, that's something I wrote about too in my takeaways piece, is that Bo did nothing yesterday that was mind-bogglingly bad, but he did nothing that was overly impressive either. He wasn't the issue yesterday, and I just think he's not getting helped either by his support systems, either by his receiving core, Troy Franklin fumbling or dropping passes, the play calling, the offensive line surrendering pressure. Not to exonerate Bo, because I agree with what you said. I thought he'd take a bigger step forward, but there's still not the total clean 100% ideal operation in place yet.
Very true. We've already talked a lot tonight, Zach, about the play calling. Now you've got some offensive line instability, especially those first 3 games. The O-line was actually not very good. Garrett Bowles being kind of the only exception. And mainly I'm talking about pass protection. But Bo did a good job of mostly avoiding the sacks. A lot of drops also by the receivers up to this point, but that's always going to be part of the tapestry. Receivers are going to drop passes. So Bo Nix has to, and Sean Payton, find a way together to rise above that stuff. Pro 16, a dear member says, I'm happy we're 4-2. It doesn't matter how we win. After we beat the Giants, we'll be 5-2. We're going to get healthy very soon, and I have faith in Sean and my Broncos. We will be fine in my books. So kind of interesting, Zach. We talk about the importance of this next stretch of games. I mean, honestly, based on current standings, based on current win-loss record, the next team the Broncos face that currently has a plus 500 record is the Washington Commanders, all the way. You got to peer through the distance, week 13. So you got to make hay. There's a lot of time between that. Not only a lot of games, Zach, but then they're bye right before that Commanders game. So this is an opportunity to really lay some bricks, as it were, in the foundation, whatever. We'll find a good simile, whatever, a good metaphor, because then it's going to get real tough once you get to December. Week 13 on, basically, Zach, is when it gets gnarly. So the Broncos, hey, that's why you can't apologize for a win. Like I was saying yesterday, when you're going into Arrowhead and the AFC West is on the line in December, you're going to be glad, regardless of the style points, that the Broncos did not lose that game against the Jets.
No, and that's why I'm not furious about how the game went yesterday, because you have to stack the wins where you can get them, especially AFC wins, and the Broncos did just that yesterday. They have an NFC game against the Giants, but it's an inferior opponent who the Broncos should beat. So go out there and take care of business, preferably convincingly.
By the way, real quick before I forget this was kind of the message Nick Benito had post-game for the fans when it came to like kind of the sloppy win or winning ugly, whatever. He said, quote, the most important thing was coming here and getting the win. Doesn't matter how it looked, in my opinion. I felt like as long as we got the win, that was the important thing. So that was Nick Benito's message to Broncos country. Shiloh jumping in, a dear member, saying, I was hoping the New York Jets was going to be a get-right game. But the New York Giants is just as good of an opportunity for a get-right game, especially as the meet and greet will be in full effect. Jealous of everyone who gets to go. Wish you could come, buddy. One of these times, it'd be great to meet you and shake your hand, hang out for a bit.
Shiloh, thank you. Yeah, they had their get-right game against Cincinnati, and they got right, and then they got better against Philadelphia, and then they took a step back on offense against the Jets. So hopefully they can take that forward against the Giants again.
And once again, too, with that, the Jets game, like I would agree with, I think it was Eric wrote this again today, that for the first time in a while, when you talk about the offensive problems in a game for the Broncos, Bo Nix was not a primary culprit. However, because there was just a lot of stuff going wrong around him, from the play calling to the execution. I mean, you name it. But holy smokes, Vinny becoming a member, dude. Stoked. Welcome. Thank you. We need you. We need everybody in the inner sanctum to make our YouTube thing all that much stronger. Really appreciate you, Vinny.
Yep. Thank you so much, Vin.
Lady D jumping in again. Holy smokes. She says, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Amen, sister. She says, I'm headed to Denver tomorrow at midnight. The red eye. Yo. So excited for Sunday's game and to meet everyone. My opinion, I think the slow start is due to his play calling. Go Broncos, hashtag MHH for life. Zach, would there are going to be multiple reasons why, multiple culprits, as it were. Is Sean Payton, I mean, he's the head coach. The buck does stop with him ultimately, but is his play calling the culprit, as she says?
Deanna, thank you. It's been a culprit. I like a lot of what Sean Payton has done since taking over as Broncos coach. He's reset the culture. He got them back to the playoffs. He's made them respectable. He's made them a contender again. But the one bugaboo has been the play calling. The one bugaboo has been him outsmarting himself and thinking he knows best. And yesterday, force-feeding McLaughlin touches exemplified that, Chad. He thinks that his version of an NFL offense is going to beat any version of an NFL defense, and you have to be flexible, and you have to look at yourself in the mirror, and he doesn't do that. So he's not going to pass the baton to Davis Webb. He's not going to give up play calling. I just hope that he realizes Bo Nix is not Drew Brees, and he has to also lean on his running game more, even if it means not so many pass attempts.
Doesn't mean that Bo Nix doesn't have that level of production in him, but, as far as the whole Drew Brees thing. But man, you got to recognize situations, brother. Like, how shocking was that Sean Payton called? It's sticking in my craw still, Zach. That's the one thing. It's like, oh, Sean, you're backed up in your own end zone, and you call that play. You call play action. So deeper drop, play action. You're begging for disaster. And that's a guy who's, that's not even so much, Zach, about, hey, let's remember that you're dealing with a second-year quarterback, not a Drew Brees 15 years into his career. It's not even just about Bo Nix. It's about, like, you're putting everybody, a little bit of an onus on everybody. You're just begging for one of those linemen to mess up, or whether it ends up in a sack safety or like what we saw, the holding penalty, which, by the way, was Garrett Bowles, although Quinn Miners officially went down as the one who was flagged for it, but it was the hold was on Bowles.
How about an Adam Prentice dive on 3rd and 10, Chad? No amount of jet lag can explain that away. And it's not just that. He went away. He took the ball out of Bo Nix's hands. He looked like he didn't trust Bo Nix to pass the ball at certain points yesterday. And at other points during this season and last year, he went away from the running game. There's also been timeout mismanagement, situational mismanagement. I like Payton a lot as a coach, but $18 million a year, he considers himself, I'm sure, to be a future Hall of Famer. He leaves a lot to be desired in that department.
By the way, Lady D, I'm going to be messaging you after the stream tonight, so look for that. And thank you very much for your support. Safe travels. Super stoked to see you in a few days' time. It's going to be a gas. Real quick, Zach, I want to grab this from the stream guy, our friend Roger, a dear member, saying, hi, Chad, Zach, Scott, and Broncos country. I hear a lot of people being down on Payton, and I get it. Let's ask ourselves, though, when in the last 10 years we were tied for first place after 6 games. It's a fair point, Zach, that it's like Nick Benito said, part of his answer in that same remark I was quoting earlier was he can't remember. This is the first time he can recall since he's been a Bronco being 4-2. So, hey, man, the sun's shining. Let's not miss the forest for the trees. At the end of the day, the NFL is a production-based business, and so far, the Broncos, through 6 games, have produced 2 more wins than they have losses.
Yeah, again, I like a lot of what Sean Payton's done. He is one of the best Broncos coaches of all time. He is definitely the best Broncos coach since Gary Kubiak, and he's helped revitalize the franchise. I just think his offensive concepts at times can be outdated. He calls plays with a lot of ego and pride behind that, and he's a little too stubborn and not flexible enough for today's NFL string guy. So if he can just correct those things a little bit, the Broncos will be just fine.
And there's still time yet, guys. We're a month and a half into things, but the season is still young. David Youngkin jumping in also with a super chat to say, Zach, I agree with you about what Sean about what Sean has done for the Broncos. The only thing I've been arguing about is the play calling.
Yeah, except for not giving us injury updates and being a little reticent of the media. Again, Sean Payton is one of the best Broncos coaches in its history. I think that's fair to say, at least in recent memory. And he's what the Broncos needed. He's what the organization needed. But again, it even goes back, if you read some of Saints fans, their comments on Twitter, it sounds like Drew Brees helped him out a lot, and he's still living off that a little bit at times.
At times, I would agree. Brad, what's up, dude? Another dear member in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Great to see you. David, thank you for your support, my bro, and for being the member and the superstar that you are.
Thank you,
Thank
David.
you, buddy. We also have here checking in Taylor Christensen. Speaking of legends, what's up, brother? Rocking his Bo Nix jersey from last year. Awesome. Sean Payton just needs to let the leash off of Bo Nix. Go Denver Broncos. We already touched on it, but like as Zach mentioned a minute ago, why are you giving up? Why aren't you trusting your quarterback to make a play? You're giving a fullback dive on a 3rd and long. That's signaling we give up. Like, it'd be one thing. It still would be a signaling a give up if you handed it off to a ball carrier that had half a chance in freaking hell to pick up the yardage. But to give it to the fullback, it's like, yeah, why didn't you just punt? You might as well just punt it on 3rd down. Like, you knew what was going to happen. What is that? What signal does that send to your quarterback? That sends, oh, I don't trust you to get the yardage, or I don't like I don't think I have the right plays for you right now. It just doesn't impart a sense of confidence and belief. And that's concerning. But again, I think, Zach, it was kind of part of the general malaise and kind of perhaps unexpected obstacles that had popped up in that game that we've already been talking about. The Jets being really hungry. I mean, that offense obviously sucks, Zach, especially in the face of a ravenous Broncos defense. But I think the Broncos and fans, generally speaking, slept on just how hungry the Jets were, and especially that defense, man. They came to try and steal one.
There is no excusing that play call. To me, it was cowardly. It's exactly what you said. It's a give up play call, and you'll play for the punt and play defense. It's just coaching scared, having no confidence in your offense, and saying to your offense, look at the defense, guys. They can get the job done, and I have no confidence that you can. I don't like the messages sent, and I hope that's the last time we see something like that.
Pearl, Sue, good to see the two of you in the chat. We also have Camden jumping in, who has become a member recently and is a longtime superstar. So thank you, brother. Appreciate you. What up, Broncos country? I'm excited for the game against the Giants. Hopefully the defense can stop the hype of Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo. Any news on whether Dre Greenlaw could play on Sunday? No news. We were talking about it a little bit earlier in tonight's show, Camden, but we'll get our first hint on that front Wednesday in practice. Does he practice at all? If he practices, even in a limited capacity Wednesday, it's going to point strongly towards him being activated for the Giants game. And, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword because as he's been working back from the sidelines, Zach, Justin Sternad has played very, very well. He's already got as an off-ball inside linebacker, he's already got a career high in sacks, 3.5 sacks already this season. And he had 1.5 against the Jets. He's playing really well. Were it not for him, the Alex Singleton lapses would be catastrophic so far this season. So I'm a little bit bummed at the implications of Greenlaw's return for Justin Sternad for whatever it's worth. But our first hint, Camden, comes Wednesday.
And even if he's activated, there's no guarantee he's going to play a full complement of snaps on Sunday coming back from that injury. It could be a ramp-up period, even if he's in the huddle on Sunday.
Man, the Falcons are laying it on the Bills. It's like, hey, are there any more elite teams, like genuine juggernauts left in the NFL? The Lions, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bills. Hey, Broncos, never been a better opportunity to get your act together than right now, y'all. Anyway, Camden, we'll see, buddy. We'll check back. And yes, this is where the hype, the Dart Scattaboo hype begins to get a kink in its tail. Trust on that. We also have here the Duchess jumping back in, Michaela Parker.
Thank you, Michaela. Wow.
Can't wait for the meet and greet. Lady D, let me know when you're in town. Also, Michaela, I'll be reaching out to you after the show tonight, so look for that. But it's going to be really fun. It's going to be fun hanging out Sunday. Can't wait. I mean, the memories we're going to make, the opportunity to hang out, the conversations, then the game. I mean, you can't ask for more. It's going to be so fun. So for those of you that are making the trip here and all that stuff, love you, appreciate you. I know it comes at a sacrifice. And again, we're going to make some memories. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is going to be the best meet and greet yet, punctuated by, I think, a convincing victory over the Giants. But regardless, Michaela, cannot wait to see you out there, everyone out there. It's going to be super fun this weekend.
Did they call it back, Scott? Did he step out? I don't have the sound on. So, yeah, he did. Dang it. All right. Michaela, you're the bomb.com, my friend. You know this. Okay, let me see. Where are we at time-wise? We're at 40 minutes coming up on it. We're doing pretty good. Jeffrey, and really nice to see you on Facebook. Don't worry, we're going to come to you. Hang tight, my friend. Shannon Mills jumping in. That's a newer name, Zach, on Super Chat.
Welcome.
I think we've seen you before, but newer name, newer. So welcome. Thank you very much for the support. Very generous. Discipline has also been a major issue. Yeah, the penalties. If the team can cut down on the unnecessary penalties, that'd make a huge difference. Go Broncos. That's even something Sean Payton talked about post-game yesterday. And he said I'll paraphrase him. Well, I'll just read it. Let me see. Well, which one is it? Yeah. So as far as the aesthetics of the win and then the penalties, Quote, "It doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing. In 3 weeks, the key is the corrections, and the troubling part is the penalties were a point of emphasis going into this game. So that's the thing we have to look at ourselves, what we're doing, how much we're doing. But yeah, I mean, they put you in those third downs when you really don't want to be in, meaning the penalties, right? They set you back, Zach."
Another thing, though, and thank you so much, Shannon, for that very generous super. Another thing that Sean Payton has harped on and said, we're going to fix it. It's on me. We're going to fix it. It's on me. And they haven't fixed it yet. They're still shooting themselves in the foot and taking points off the board and just being a detriment to the entire team. That is the number one thing, except for Sean Payton's play calling, Shannon. The number one thing that has to improve are the penalties, the discipline, the technique. It has to be better.
I mean, on one hand, you understand some of it in this game in particular, as far as Matt Pert seeing his first meaningful action. And I mean, they had 6, the Broncos total. 3 of them were Matt Pert, right? Half of their penalties, but it's still way too many. I mean, again, Sean Payton's alarmed that it was a point of emphasis, and yet still a factor. You got to get to the bottom of that. Discipline, as Shannon says, is one of the marks of teams that go a good distance in the NFL. So let's hope, buddy. But thank you again, Shannon. Shout out to Jeffrey. Great show, guys. My favorite MHH host. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. The Bills are looking human. We can beat any AFC team if the Broncos offense decides to join the party. Cheers, guys. Go Broncos. Well, not only that, but this team is good enough that even when the offense struggles, like in Philly, struggled for 3 quarters, turned it on, basically, Zach, at the end of the third, and really just got their motor running, firing on all cylinders in the fourth quarter, and it was enough to win because your defense is that good.
And it seems like, I know it's one game, not trying to overreact to Buffalo getting blown out, but the AFC is wide open for the taking this year, it looks like, Jeffrey. And the Broncos, as Chad was just alluding to there, and we've talked about, if they can find their identity on offense and continue playing dominant defense, they put it together for all 4 quarters, they can beat every team, not just in the AFC, but the NFL. They could be that good.
No doubt about it. We also have Joey Dively jumping in on Super Chat. Welcome, Joey. Thank you, big dog. Appreciate the support. Has anyone thought that maybe Sean doesn't trust the receiver group other than maybe Sutton, constantly having, 3 or 4 drops a game on open throws? Not only that, Zach, but I'll add to this, Joey, fumbles after the catch, like Troy Franklin. We can sit here and argue, that fumble that Garrett Wilson had later in the game, I mean, they were basically the same thing that was upheld in the Troy Franklin fumble, but then reversed in Wilson. Doesn't matter. Troy, hold on to the freaking ball. That alone cost him some momentum on their very first possession. So your thought here, Zach, for Joey, who says maybe Sean Payton doesn't trust these receivers other than Sutton.
He trusted them enough to predict an ascension for Troy Franklin. He trusted them enough to trade away Devon Vele and lean more on Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin. So I think he is just trying to feed every mouth, and it's a spread the wealth type of offense. And the receivers just have to make the catch, though. And it's not exclusive to just Franklin. Every receiver at some point in the last 2 seasons has dropped a pass, including Cortland Sutton. They just got to help out Bo Nix more consistently.
Eric Flynn, who is not only a Super Chat superstar and a member, he's been a Facebook supporter for years, gifting 5 MHH memberships. That's really cool, dude. Thank you for the support. I'm sure those folks appreciate it. And hopefully, they get their 30 days with the membership and they stick with us. So thank you, buddy. David Youngkin jumping in again, bro. Thanks. The Giants have not run into this nightmare of a defense before. That's what I'm saying. One of the things I'm saying here is, hey, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatteraboo, they've been impressive, right? I got to tell you, even though I watched Jackson Dart at the Senior Bowl, he was arguably one of the 2 best guys as far as the quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl. I didn't think he'd be this good this fast. But then again, Zach, it's been a smaller sample size, and it's a different thing altogether going against this defense.
Yeah, I also think it's where when the NFL starts to get some tape on Dart, then you'll see him crash back down to earth. But Scatterbo is running hard, and they're the Jeremy Lin right now of the NFL for this month. And that's going to come to a cease very soon. I don't want to predict a blowout because I'm still eating my words about the Jets game, but I do think, David, the Broncos will take care of the Giants fairly convincingly.
Todd, dude, what's going on, big dog? Chad, Zach, it was a positional football game, so yes, it is a more conservative approach. However, I think Sean felt very confident in the defense's ability to get the stop. Well, that's for sure. That's the one thing that was, unmistakable in terms of messages being sent was, I trust my defense. You take it a little bit farther down the road of logic. I trust my defense more than I trust my offense.
It's okay to express confidence in your defense and play to live to fight another down, but that obvious of a give up call to make it that transparent as to the direction that you're going, it was very unlike Sean Payton, who last week going for a 2-point conversion, the what's of steel. Where was that on the third down?
Well said, Raj. With 11 games left, if we win 6. We probably make the playoffs. If we win 8, we probably win the AFC West. Well, and you've only played one AFC West game so far. So there's still a lot of division deciding stuff yet to happen. George Fox, great pod. Wish I could be there. Hope it all goes well. Weather and all. Broncos for life. MHH for life. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Yes, indeed, brother. Yes, indeed. We always hope for good weather for the meet and greets. And that's always one of the things that I get a little bit nervous about when we schedule them beyond September is the weather. But hopefully it holds out, and we'll miss you. One of these days, George, hopefully one of these days, brother. All right, where we at? Oh, let me give a shout here. Let me give a shout to Lawrence. What's up, Lawrence? Love our defense, but in prime time seems to either be really good or really bad. No in between. Primetime games, or just mean Sunday's not prime time. Maybe he's talking about the fact that the Jets game, Zach, was the only game on at the time. I don't know. But the Broncos, that's the one thing this far into the season, Zach, I trust is the defense utterly. And I honestly trust Bo Nix too. I just want to see Sean Payton show that same level of trust and belief, Zach, and then we'll grab our friend Nick Hale here.
Yeah, it starts and ends with the head coach, Chad. I think we've said that, many different ways. The buck stops with him being Sean Payton, so it has to trickle its way down.
Nick says, Chad, Zach, in my profession, I work to help people recognize their internal and behavioral patterns. I've recognized a continual pattern with Sean's play calling, and that is abandoning the run game. We have Dobbins, who has been our best back in a while. We have Harvey, who's dynamic, strong, fast, has good vision. Give him more touches. Why does he keep abandoning the run game? Keep it simple, stupid. KISS, KISS. Yeah, I don't know, dude. He seemed to really be onto something for those, 3 games in a row with JK. And then I think a big part of it too is Sean Payton's also going, man, I'm not going to keep beating my head against the wall. The Broncos could not move a guy off the block yesterday in London. It was bad. The offensive line's run blocking was about as bad as we've seen it. The Broncos finished with 78 rush yards. And honestly, Zach, that's more like if you would have just asked me after the game, hey, how many yards do you think the Broncos rushed for? I would not have thought even 78. Dobbins carried 14 times, only had 40 yards. That's under 3-yard average. Bo Nix had 5 for 24. Harvey only carried it twice for 4 yards.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. That's Sean Payton's back, though. He knows he has a good backfield, but he fights those internal monologues telling him to pass the ball, telling him to make Bo Nix an elite quarterback. Remember, top 5 in the next couple years. That came from Sean Payton's mouth. You don't think he wants to accelerate that process, knowing that anything Bo Nix does is an indictment on him? Again, it has to be a come-to-Jesus moment where he realizes you have to find your identity, and if that means swallowing your pride and running the ball more, so be it.
The Ronk checking in, dude. It was his birthday yesterday, and it might not have been wrapped in the shiniest and most beautiful of paper, but when he opened it up, it was still a win. It was still Broncos coming out on top. He says, thanks, everyone, for my birthday wishes yesterday. Go Bo Broncos. Yeah, dude. Hope it was a great one, Ronk, and I'm glad to see the Broncos, ugly though it was, got it done for you.
Yeah, thanks for spending it here, Ronk, and also popping in tonight.
Okay, guys, we got a few messages for you. Then we're going to take one last look at the chat, so don't go anywhere.
Tremendous episode, as always, of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle. Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every podcast, check out MHHmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important as always that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
Phil, great show tonight, guys. Temperature is supposed to be 68 and sunny on Sunday. Yeah, baby. Let's hope it holds. You guys. Also wanted to give a shout out here to our friend Pearl. Wish I could come, but I cannot leave my hubby alone. She's talking about the meet and greet. Maybe next year I can get someone to stay with them. Hey, we'll miss you, and we'll have you in our thoughts, and hopefully one of these days, Pearl, would be awesome. But yeah, our thoughts are always with you. And I know that's a big commitment, and you're a great wife for being there for your hubby. So good for you on that. A Mile High salute, special shout out to the great Super Chat superstars, the supporters on Facebook, the members tonight helping us keep the lights on in order. Papa Bear, brother, thank you, David. The Lady D, multiple supers, gifting memberships. Sam Bam, love you, big dog. Flying Anger Pig, heck yeah. Gene William, the Brace Girdles, shout out. The David, the Duchess, Michaela Parker, George Fox, Tucson Phil. Vinny, becoming a member. Awesome, dude. Welcome. Thank you. David Youngkin throwing down. Taylor Christensen. Look at all these members / superstars. Camden. Shannon Mills. Really cool to have you. Invite you and Joey here to become members. We need you. George Fox and the Ronk. Much love and respect. And then here at the 11th hour, Zach, we have Eric Holt jumping in to say, just a quick question. Is there OG or offensive guard or coverage linebacker you would use Moss or Seth to get help? Who would it be?
I don't know. I don't know what that's asking.
Is there an offensive guard or cover backer you would use Moss or Seth to get help, and who would it be? That Moss and Seth part is what's throwing me off here. I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say, Eric. But here's what I'll say to you in terms of coverage linebacker. Yeah, his name's Dre Greenlaw. He's waiting in the wings. Let's hope this is the week. When it comes to offensive guard, the pickings are slim. Bob, if you go to milehighhuddle.com right now, Eric, as the stream is about to end here, and read Bob's article that takes a look at the available free agent offensive guards. I mean, Cody Whitehair is basically who headlines it. Other than that, it's Brandon Scherf, who retired after last season. So, it's not great, Zach.
Oh, is he asking, like, is there a player the Broncos would trade to get a guard or a coverage linebacker? If so, I don't know that they're going to do a 1-for-1. And I think what Chad is saying there obviously is true. They have Dre Greenlaw coming back. They gave him a lot of money. They signed him to be that coverage guy. So fingers crossed and knock wood that he stays healthy.
No doubt about it. Sorry if we weren't quite seeing eye to eye on that super, Eric, but thank you, buddy. With that being said, love you guys. Tomorrow for the members, which continues to grow by leaps and bounds by every single stream. We got Kelberman's Korner at noon Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, so do not miss that. And then Zach and I will be back together, of course, on Thursday. So then it's, hey, everybody getting ready, gearing up for the meet and greet. So this is going to be a week that goes by quickly. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate you, big dog. And with that, everybody have a great week.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Chad and I will see you Thursday. Have a great start to your week. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.